Hey guys, welcome to the video. This month I basically decided to do a no spend month and I wanted to share it with you guys and maybe inspire somebody out there who's been thinking about doing something like this. For me, the past few months, I noticed that my spending was getting a little bit out of control. I just wanted to get more diligent and definitely more disciplined in my spending habits, because for me, over the past few years, the way that I've been able to budget, in some cases like pretty extreme budgeting, has allowed me to be able to do things that I want to do, go places I want to go. And so that's why I wanted to make March a no spend month and kind of reset that portion of my life. So what I did was I used cash only for as much as I could, which pretty much was just gas, groceries, and restaurant spending. So I put cash in envelopes, which honestly I wasn't sure how this one would go, and it pretty much sucked, but I'm almost at the end of the month now, just a few more days in the month, and I feel like it's overall been super beneficial, even though I am out of budget in a few categories, but I'm under budget in a few categories. So let's go ahead and jump into it, and I'm just going to show you guys the details, share what I did and my experience with it, and hopefully this can help you out in some way. I'm gonna go ahead and outline my budget spreadsheet that I made. It was easy for me to track everything here, to follow along with my progress throughout the month. As you can see, I have my monthly income listed at the top. That was my first step. I included part-time and full-time income in that. I listed all of my expenses and I put them in these categories, and I wanted the no spend month to be basically a bare bones spending. Obviously I do need to spend money on certain bills and certain things just for living, obviously. So it's not a true like $0 month. My rent, my electricity, internet. The only two categories I wanted to bring up was this Mount Elbrus deposit. This was something that is extra, but what that is, I'm climbing this this mountain, Mount Elbrus, later this year, and I actually got a discount on the cost of that if I gave them my deposit early, so I went ahead and did that. The other item I wanted to point out was this swimsuit. I also got a discount on a good quality swimsuit that I know will last me like the whole year and probably a few years, I guess, but I went ahead and included that so that I could take care of those two things. The other item I wanted to point out, my online store, I included this in my budget. I just launched an online store brand this month, so I had some basically startup costs for that I included in my budget. And overall, as I was spending these, the beauty about the budget is that you don't have to feel guilty about spending this money, because you know that it's already worked in to your budget and you're safe, basically. So I love that feeling of being comfortable with it. And in the leftover category, I did highlight the areas that I went over a little bit. But all in all, I ended up with a positive number left over there. So you can see the total spent or put in savings is obviously less than my total income, which was my total budgeted. And I added 2 extra sheets throughout the month called out of budget spending, just to kind of hold myself accountable for those, and my want list. And I kind of whited out those items just for privacy, guys, but I listed the costs here and I did list little reasons for myself there. But yeah, that total was $141. And then my want list, I thought this was crazy. These were items that I otherwise think I would have just bought in the moment, and I didn't because I was trying to be diligent with the budget. And the total for that was $635. These were probably in the first week. These were mid-month, and then these were later in the month. And I think if I wasn't thinking about it, I would have just gotten those and just kind of wondered where that money went. So I think that was really cool to be able to list those items and see how much money I saved because I was being conscious about it. But
I went ahead and did a breakdown with some pie graphs just to give myself a visualization, so I could see where, my weaknesses potentially are. 40% of categories were over budget, 26% met budget, as you can see, and 33% were under budget. So I wasn't too worried about a few of those categories that were over budget, but I think that's something that I could improve on. And my spending, I thought this was amazing to see really what this looked like for me. So 58%, 0.9% of my monthly income went to spending, 37% went to savings. That was huge for me. And then out of budget, 3.8%.
Here are those 4 envelopes that I mentioned. Restaurants, and I did $60 for that. This one's groceries, I did $200 for that. I wanted to try to divide it as best as I could into weeks, just to make it easier for me to track this. Groceries and restaurants actually were the categories that was the most difficult for me to kind of break the habit of just getting whatever I wanted without paying attention to this. I'm not used to carrying around cash and using cash. I've been so used to using a credit card or debit card, but I thought that this would help me a little bit. As you can see, I didn't even end up using this, and I think that this would have helped to basically plan out, like before the month even started, plan out what exact days I was gonna go to the grocery store and spend this money. But my intention was to basically cross off each week. I did do that with the gas category. So I did pretty good there, and I still have 20 bucks left with a few days at the end of the month. The other item that is kind of an outlier in the quote unquote no spend month was a particular swimsuit that I knew I would value, and it was good quality, and I had a coupon for it. It was only valid for 2 weeks in the month of March. So I did go ahead and get that, and that will be like my swimsuit for the next year. I hope you guys enjoyed that breakdown of my no spend month. I did want to go ahead and leave you with a few key takeaways. 3 of them that I found out from a month of, or almost a month of doing this at this point. So the first one is that intentionality and planning are key. They're absolutely critical to be able to form good spending habits. You have to have the intention, what is the goal, not just of the month, but what are your longer term goals, and also getting more detailed with it. What are the goals of each and every transaction? What is the value in it, and plan for it, plan for every transaction. The second one is that cash really does make it harder to spend your money. Having to, take out the cash, especially if you're trying to categorize it and track it, then that just makes it that much more difficult. Like, it adds more friction before you can carry through with making that purchase. So for me, that was something that was frankly annoying during the month to have to deal with. It made me really think about, was that, what was the benefit there? Because I'm really having to take time, to even just pay for gas. But in the end, it's obviously helping me save time and save money. And that kind of leads to the third key takeaway, which is that controlling your spending will also allow you to control your time. So something I noticed this month was that I had to be really careful about, what was I doing with my weeknights, even my mornings, and what I was doing for lunch, my weekends. What was I doing with those things, and the correlation that has to my budget, because I didn't have like an entertainment budget, and I didn't have just like a I don't even know, like free spend or fun money. Like I didn't put that category into my budget, so I had to really think about like, what's my time going to, what am I using it for, and I think that at the coming towards the end of the month now, I can really look back and say that, it has been very productive because I've had all this extra time. I feel like for me this month, I was really able to save time, and get a lot more use out of my time as a result of the intentionality that I placed in my budget. By the way, last year I did a video showing this tiny shoebox studio that I lived in, but it was really cheap and I saved money that way. So if you want to watch that, I'll link it here. And also, I would really love to engage with you guys. And if you're watching this, you can see this is like a tiny channel that I have here. So I always love reading people's stories in the comments and really getting to meet people here. So please go ahead and let me know, what did you think? Do you have your own budget? Has something worked for you for years or decades that you want to share? I think it'd be really cool to be able to hear stories of success, stories of failure, everything in between. So please go ahead and reach out or leave a comment. And again, thank you so much for watching this, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.